Okay, so we're going to do a football club history video. We're going to Scotland for this one, and we're looking at Dumbarton Football Club. Now, there's two reasons why I'm doing a video on Dumbarton Football Club. Firstly, I thought I'd already done a video on them. Turns out I hadn't. And the second reason, is they've just entered administration, and with the precarious state of football finances for a lot of clubs, they could cease to exist alongside Inverness Cally Thistle, who are both currently in Scottish League One. Both clubs are in dire financial straits right now. Dumbarton themselves, one of the oldest clubs in Scotland, they were initially founded on the 23rd of December 1872, so they go back before the Scottish Football League was even set up. They're older than the English Football League. In fact, they're older than the FA Cup. So this is one of the oldest clubs in existence, 23rd December 1872. Now, their current stadium is the Dumbarton Football Stadium, which is right by Dumbarton Castle. Only has a small capacity of 2,020, which is a shame, but their record ever attendance is at their old stadium of Boghead Park. Unfortunate name for a stadium, historical stadium that was well over 18,000 back in the day. Now, there was a period between 1901 and 1905 where the club had a hiatus period. They had a period out of the game, but they were admitted back to the Scottish League in 1905, where they've been ever since. Their last season in the top flight, however, was in the 84-85 season, so it's been 40 years since they were a top flight club in Scotland. They've obviously now really hit hard times with the administrators being called in, which is where I'm going to get to now. They were purchased by a hedge fund, Cognitive Capital, in May 2021. Now, they've entered administration today, the 19th of November 2024, as I'm recording this video. And again, we have to ask the question of the suitability of some ownership groups and owners to own football clubs, because while they're in the lower levels of Scottish football now, this has been a top flight club. They have won major honours in Scotland. They're one of only two clubs to win each individual division, the other one being Rangers. And, they're one of the oldest clubs, not only in the Scottish game, but in the world game. And so we do honestly have to ask questions about club ownership yet again, because the current owners, Cognitive Capital, have called in the administrators today. So there's something that's gone very, very wrong here. And I want to hear from Dumbarton fans about the financial situation and who these owners actually are. I really would have to do a lot of digging on Cognitive Capital. I want to keep this video as brief as possible, but it is concerning that they are one of two clubs in Scottish League One, the other Inverness Cally Thistle, who've entered administration within the space of a month. That is deeply, deeply concerning. Both those clubs have been top flight sides. Both those clubs have won major honours. It's deeply concerning. Now, while Scottish football is dominated by Rangers and Celtic, it's still worrying that one of their oldest clubs, one of the most historical clubs in the Scottish game, is basically up the Swanee. Now, two fun facts. They're one of only two clubs to win each individual division of the four professional divisions in Scottish football. The other is Rangers. And they're the first club in Scotland to have a supporters trust. And they are the fourth largest shareholders in the club. So the supporters trust could be the group of people who saved this club from the administrators, because I don't think Cognitive Capital will be involved in any way, shape or form going forward with the club. Let's just say that. Now, as I say, we have the very, very real possibility that two clubs in Scotland could go out of business before Christmas. The other, obviously, as I say, is Cally Thistle. This shouldn't be the case. There is enough money in professional football around Europe for everyone to survive healthily. It comes down to really bad ownership, poor governance, and greed. And as I say, the football pyramid it's vital that all the layers are healthy, strong and competitive, and unfortunately there's a lot of greed and there's a lot of people who should be nowhere near running any sports team, let alone a football club, who are currently in charge of clubs. Look at Lyon and the mess they're in, and they're a massive club, so it can happen to anyone. Now, their major honours. I could have covered all their division honours, but I'm looking at the major honours that would be classed by UEFA, for example, as going towards the coefficient. They've won the old Scottish Football League, which would now be the SPL, the league title, twice. In fact, one season, they shared it with Rangers. The first season of the Scottish Football League in the 1890-91 season was shared with Rangers. They won it outright the following year in the 1891-92 season, and that's the last time they won the league title. However, at that point in Scottish footballing history, they were one of the big clubs. Now, they've also won the Scottish Cup before the Scottish Football League was established in the 1882-83 edition of the Scottish Cup. Now, as I say, I could look at all their individual division titles of Division 3, Division 2, Division 1, SPL, but they're their major honours. The records are quite interesting. Their record win, 13-2 against Kirkintilloch Central on the 1st of September 1888. So they battered that lot. Their highest attendances. Now, at the old Boghead Park, they had 18,001 versus Wraith Rovers on the 2nd of March 1952, and they sold out the Dumbarton Football Stadium with a capacity crowd of 2,020 against Rangers last season in one of the cup competitions on the 20th of January last year. The goals record for a single season is Kenny Wilson with 38 in a league season in the 71-72 season. So there's some fun little records I thought I'd throw in there. I don't do that with every single club, but with Dumbarton, with their lack of major honours, although they do have some, it's always fun to throw some fun records in there and some fun facts, like being one of only 2 clubs to win each individual division in Scotland, and the first club to have a supporters trust. So there's some interesting little fun facts about Dumbarton. Let's hope they can survive administration, find some new financing. I believe the supporters trust could be the saviour here. Personally, I think they're going to have to really try and step up and save the club. And I think they could be successful in doing that. But again, we have to ask about ownership rules and fit and proper persons, and it's a shambles, really. There are some very dodgy people who asset strip clubs, and I wouldn't be surprised this has happened with Dumbarton. It's happened at a load of clubs, but it also shows the precarious state of football finances the further down the pyramid you go as well. The fact that they're one of 2 clubs in the same division in administration right now is deeply troubling. So we'll see what the outcome is for Dumbarton and if they can survive, but this needs to be a warning to Scottish football that they need to figure out a way to distribute wealth better, get a better TV deal, better investment, and football in general, because Lyon have entered bankruptcy. So this is an absolute mess. One of the biggest clubs in one of the bigger leagues in Europe is flat on its arse. Another one of their biggest clubs in Bordeaux's basically gone to amateur status, and then you have 2 fair-sized clubs in Scotland who, again, are flat on their arse because of shocking ownership and poor financial rules and bad governance. And it's not the players' fault. It's not, the fans' fault, because fans clearly are turning up. They're selling out the little stadium, and in the past they've sold out, the bigger stadium. A historical club going way back to the foundation of Scottish football, and they're being destroyed by shocking ownership. So there we go. But there's a brief history on Dumbarton FC. A little bit of a rant as well, because as each day passes, I'm getting more and more concerned and more frustrated with the direction football is heading. But anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you very much for watching. I want to hear from Dumbarton fans about who this cognitive capital group actually are, and what were their intentions with the club. But for me, for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll have some more content for you guys very, very soon.